Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to another edition of Can't Wait Wednesdays here on the KB Radio Network, where we preview upcoming releases of this upcoming weekend. Ooh, I'm excited today. Today is a episode that we're doing a little different than our normal Can't Wait Wednesdays. Normally, we just go over and talk about solely what's coming out this upcoming week, but this episode of Can't Wait Wednesday, I can't help but discuss something that was just announced by James Gunn. We all know James Gunn, a talented filmmaker who has a film coming out in a couple of months. Weird to say, a couple of months. Uh, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and he did all three of those films. And he is now the co-CEO of DC Studios. So we've been awaiting the announcement of upcoming projects from DC. You know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and all those glorious characters of DC, and they're building their own universe, um, adjacent to the MCU. We're gonna have the DCU, and I'm so excited to discuss. They just announced it, I'll say a couple of hours ago, and give you a little peek behind the curtain. I had already recorded this episode. I had already put this one in a can. I recorded it, edited, uh, getting ready to post it, and they dropped that bomb on me. And I was like, you know what? We're going to talk about it. I have to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it. But before we get into the new slate that was just announced by James Gunn, we're going to talk about some films that are indeed coming out this weekend. I'm not going to deviate completely from the plan. We do have some very interesting films that are coming out this week that I am curious. One, I'm curious. Well, I'm curious about both, but one has my curiosity and my attention. Uh, let's start with the first one. Uh, this is a film that when I saw the poster for it, I thought it was a joke. I really thought this was a joke. I'm like, what is this? And come to find out, this is an actual movie. And not only is it a movie, but it's coming out this Friday, February. Yes, it's February, everybody. The third. And it is 80 for Brady. It is a sports comedy film directed by Kyle Melvin, and it stars Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, Sally Fields, and Tom Brady. Um, Tom Brady also produced this film, which should shouldn't be a shock. Uh, of course, Tom Brady is going to make a movie. He's going to produce a film and put himself in it, and it be centered around him. And when I listed these actresses, I know everybody's like, "Wow, what is this? The 9 to 5 remake?" No, it's not the 9 to 5 remake. Uh, 9 to 5, which starred Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda was in the film, and they're reteaming for this film. Even though they was in a show that was on Netflix a couple of years ago, I think it just ended. My wife watched the show. I didn't watch it, but not for any particular reason. I just didn't watch it. But anyways, they're back again. I guess they love working with one another. The premise of this film: four elderly female friends and longtime New England Patriots fans travel to Houston to watch their hero Tom Brady and the Patriots play in the Super Bowl, which took place in 2017. I remember that Super Bowl. I think Tom Brady, did they win that? They won that one, I think. It don't matter. Who cares? I'm a Saints fan, so whatever. But yes, this is a film. These elderly, they always dream to go to the Super Bowl. I'm getting this from the trailer. I haven't seen the film yet. And what better opportunity to go to the Super Bowl but to see your favorite team and your favorite player play in said Super Bowl? So this looks interesting. It looks cute. Looks like a nice little funny film. And it's timely because we have the Super Bowl coming up next week. So this is a well placed film. And I'm pretty sure Tom Brady, when they got together and figured out how they were gonna make this film and when were they gonna release it, pretty sure he thought he was gonna be playing in, in the Super Bowl. But hey, didn't quite get there this year. Of course, I'm not poo pooing on them because neither did my team. So it is what it is. But 80 for Brady will come out this Friday in theaters, February the 3rd. Also coming out this Friday in theaters on February the 3rd, we have a apocalyptic psychological horror film written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Yes, him. Who gave us such classics as The Sixth Sense, um, Unbreakable, Signs, most recently Split. Those were the ones I liked. I'm not going to list the other ones, but he has given us some really great films. But he also has given us some stinkers. I guess I will list them. Lady in the Water, The Happening, Glass. Yeah, he gave us those. And I liked Old, his last film, Old. I like that one too. I'll add that to the good list. And he's back. He's adapting this novel from 2018, which is entitled The Cabin at the End of the World, which was written by Paul G. Tremblay, and giving us Knock at the Cabin, which stars Dave Bautista, Jonathan Groff, and many more. I am excited for this. This looks so good. If we don't get any Shyamalanisms in it, I didn't read the book. I going by what I read up about it, everybody loves this book, and they have the same reservations that I have. M. Night Shyamalan, hoping and praying that he doesn't just deviate from the source material. Now, I have the advantage of not reading the book, so I don't know what changes that he might make or deviations he may make from the novel. But the premise of this film is while vacationing at a remote cabin, a family of three is suddenly held hostage by four strangers who demand they sacrifice one of their own to avoid the apocalypse. Man, you talking about a premise of a film, book, whatever, or reality. Just put yourself in that situation. You have to choose a loved one or the world. That is mind-boggling. And man, you know what makes a great horror film is when you watch it or you know the premise of it and you can sit back and say, "My God, I do not want to be put in that situation." That's a good horror film. You know, when you think about uh Friday the 13th, you don't want to be in the woods with Jason or with Freddy. You don't want to fall asleep. You know, you don't want to be put in these situations. Uh this is a situation more psychological than those slasher films that I just used as examples, but this is more psychological because this is real. You know, this is a real scenario that could take place. Pretty sure they got crazy people running around the woods trying to hack your head off with a machete, but this one is more attainable in reality. And with my family, I just imagine being held hostage in my house by these people and I have to choose either my wife or my two girls or something, or the world is going to end. Well, I mean, how do you make that choice as a loving parent or you know anything? I mean, it's like, oh my God, or spouse, you know, may choose the wife. I don't know, but either way, it's not going to turn out good. Either way, it's no happy ending to that scenario, no matter what you do or don't do. And I cannot wait to see how this plays out. Knock at the Cabin will be released in theaters this Friday, February the 3rd. Okay, those are our releases this week. So now we're going to deviate into the far, far future. We're going to go into not too far, maybe a year, 2 years, but James Gunn has finally, him and Peter Safran, who is the other co-CEO of DC Studios, which is under the umbrella of Warner Brothers, have released their slate um, of upcoming films. Now, it's not the complete slate of this 10-year plan that they announced that they are working on. This is just the jumping off point. A few projects that they are working on, and I'm super excited because not only they didn't just name, okay, we're working on this, we're working on that. They actually have release dates to some of these projects, and I'm excited to go over them with you. Now, this is I want you to keep in mind we do have 4 DC films that are coming out this year. Is it 4 or 3? No, it's 4 coming out this year. Uh, First off, next month in March, we're getting Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Uh, you got Blue Beetle that's coming out in the summer. You also have The Flash coming out in the summer, and you have Aquaman 2 that is coming out in December. James Gunn explained that these 4 films will not, uh, but they will be semi a part of the new rebooted MCU. I mean MCU, DCU. Let's just say DC because I'm gonna get confused with that. The new DC. And so that was my biggest question mark going into this year, especially surrounding Shazam and Aquaman and the Flash. Uh, I can see you jumping off with Blue Beetle because we haven't received a Blue Beetle in any form on television or on the big screen. So that was a concern for me because I'm like, these are lame duck movies. Will anybody be excited to go see them? Because to be honest with you, I wasn't super excited for Shazam because I felt like, well, we're not going to get anything else out of these films. And I enjoyed the first one. In the second one, that first trailer didn't really do nothing for me. I guess I still had that frame of mind of, you know, this is it for this. This is just a lame duck movie. I'm not worried about it. Well, he kind of cleared that up. That they will continue on with this in some form. We may not get a full-fledged Shazam film, at least not in the near future, but Shazam will play a part in this iteration of Shazam will play a part going going forward, as well as Aquaman and the Flash, which is loosely based on Flashpoint from the comics. If you read that comic, if you're in the comics, you know what that signifies. And if you haven't, Flashpoint kind of resets the universe. And James Gunn, he didn't basically say it, he flat out said it, that the Flash film will reset the DC universe. So my mind just went pop. Right when he said that, I was all in. Thinking about other projects out of Warner Brothers and DC. You know, I'm a huge Batman fan. Biggest Batman fan you can ever think of. I'm looking at three posters of Batman in my office right now. I am a huge Batman fan. And so I absolutely loved Matt Reeves the Batman. I loved Robert Pattinson as Batman. So that was another question going into this new thing with James Gunn and Peter Safran with this new rebooted universe. Will Robert Pattinson's Batman be a part of that universe? That question was answered. And the answer is no. It will not be a part of the new universe. It will be Elseworlds. It's not part of the DCU. They're just gonna have Matt Reeves. This is his baby with the Batman, and they're gonna continue on with it. I'm all for that. Also, the Joker. We all loved the Joker. At least I hope we all did, because it was a beautiful film. With Joaquin Phoenix. We know that part two is coming out. Is it this year or next year? I can't. I forgot the date of that, but it is coming out. They're currently filming it with Lady Gaga joining the cast. A lot of speculation that she will be Harley Quinn, which is like another mind blowing factor. I thought that was perfect. Never would have thought that. And when when she was cast, I was like, oh my god, that is perfect. But anywho's, that will also be Elseworlds. It will not be part of this new slate that we're about to go over. And so all I needed was some clarification, and I got it. And I'm happy now. I am super happy now. I know all the questions, everybody was clamoring for some information. What's next? Are we going to get a new Superman? Because it was already announced that Henry Cavill would not be returning as Superman. So everybody was up in arms about that. The Snyderverse is over. I know a lot of people were upset about that, but it had its time. It did its thing, and it really is time to reboot it, because it's all the problem with DC. And we're going to get into the slate. I promise you, people. The problem with DC, in the past, it's all over the place, all over the place. You don't know what is what. You you had you have a universe or a film slate where you have three different Batmans. You had Ben Affleck, who was in Justice League and Batman v Superman and uh, uh, Suicide Squad. I couldn't get it out. He was in those, and so you also had Robert Pattinson. You know, you had about two different Jokers, because you had Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. You had Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker film, his solo film. It was just all over the place, and you really couldn't follow it. I mean, for the layman who are not into the movies like I am, and some of you are, it was confusing. Like, what am I watching? Who is this guy? You know, who is he playing? Wait, I thought he was playing him. You know, it's confusing, and there's no connective tissue. And so, to set that right, I'm all for it. I'm all in it. I know we have to sacrifice some good characters or some good actors in order to get that. I liked Henry Cavill as Superman. Man of Steel is one of my favorite comic book movies ever. You know, and he was a big part of that. So I loved him as Superman. But in this new, we're doing something new. If we're gonna reboot it, fine. We probably go we losing Ben Affleck, who I, I had my doubts when it was announced, like everybody else on the internet who lost their minds. But when he put on the cape and the cowl, I was all in. He was perfect as Batman. But that's fine. We can move on. And so I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at this new direction that we're heading. I'm happy that he cleared it up. He really didn't have to. He didn't. They don't owe us an explanation. So I'm glad that we got one. Um, so I'm all for it. So here are the projects coming down the slate. The first project is something that I'm pretty sure nobody know, but uh, like I said, if you're a DC fan, you're excited for this. Creature Commandos. That's gonna be a 7 episode animated series, which James Gunn wrote. He wrote all the episodes. Is already in production. And basically, this if you don't know what Creature Commandos are, they are a team of classic monsters assembled to fight Nazis. This will be a modern take on it, on that concept. So the monsters is Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein. I think you had the Mummy in there. So you had some crazy characters that was involved with Creature Commandos in the comics. And look, I'm all for that. It's an unusual jumping off point for the new DCU, but I'm all in on that. Also, I want to mention this will be chapter 1. And chapter 1 is entitled God and Monsters. So to put that in perspective, you can understand why Creature Commandos is the first film to really break this open. And so, yeah, now God and Monsters, as he being James Gunn stated, is not what the whole first chapter is about, but is a big part of that chapter. So Creature Commandos will be on HBO Max. That 7 episode series. So be on the lookout for that. There is no release date for that. But it is coming fairly soon, he said. Next up on the slate is another HBO Max series. Um, this was a shock. This one I did not expect, and I know it's going to confuse a lot of people, but it's 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 really no other way they could have went with this. The HBO Max series is entitled Waller. Yes, Amanda Waller, and we remember this character from the Suicide Squad films, who was played by Viola Davis. And yes, Viola Davis is returning as this ruthless, morally ambitious head of the government task force. Oh, bruh. That's all he had to say. He could have stopped it right there, and I was all in. Take my money, because say what you will about the Snyderverse and the Suicide Squad films, you cannot say a bad word about Viola Davis's interpretation of Amanda Waller. She is Amanda Waller. And so there was nobody else to play this character. It really is. So she is moving over, one of the only characters, uh or one of the few characters to move over into this new rebooted universe. And this is perfect, man. It will be a spinoff of the Peacemaker series. Now, he didn't say anything about Peacemaker coming back. That wasn't announced. But if you really sit down and think about it, Peacemaker isn't a part of anything. Like Peacemaker was its own thing. It wasn't a part of the Justice League or Zack Snyder's Justice League or anything like that. They did have that little, in the season finale, this little thing in Peacemaker. If you haven't seen Peacemaker, the spoilers, where Aquaman and the Flash showed up at the end. But it just throw that out your head. I really don't care about that. But this film, this not film, but series will be written by Crystal Henry, who worked on The Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who is the creator of the Doom Patrol TV show that was on HBO Max. So this should be interesting. I'm excited for that project. The next project he dropped is the doozy. This is the one James Gunn says is truly kicking off the new DCU. And this film, which he is writing himself, and he didn't confirm he was directing it, but he left the door open to direct it. I think he's going to end up directing this film, and I'm all for that as well. This project, which he did give a release date for, July the 11th, 2025, Superman Legacy. Mm, mm, mm. This is not an origin story. This would not be an origin. We're not going to get Krypton, the baby in the ship, landing in Kansas, you know, Ma and Paul Ken raising them and all this here. We're going to spend half the movie in Smallville. We're not getting that. We know the origins of Superman. Your grandmother knows the origins of Superman. Who doesn't know that? There's no need to go back to that. Just same thing with Batman. There's no need to see Martha and Thomas get gunned down in the alley no more. I'm tired of seeing them get killed in the alley. Let's move ahead. So the same thing with Superman. And in this version of Superman, we're starting off, he's young, he's working at the Daily Planet, and That's all he has told us. He says he's in the middle of writing it. He's almost completed it. He's having fun writing it, and he is excited for this project, and it will officially kick off the new DCU on July the 11th, 2025. We have another television show. Now, a lot of these are television shows, if you notice, and that's good. You know, he did mention he wants to incorporate TV, films, and gaming to all be canon, all have the same continuity. Something that DC doesn't have. MCU have that. Marvel has that with, with your Disney Plus shows, with your, of course, the films and stuff like that. So it's all connected and you can follow it. James Gunn wants to follow that same blueprint, and laying out this is perfect to me. This television series is that he has announced is an exciting one because been waiting on this forever. We all got the Green Lantern film, which starred Ryan Reynolds. What that was, about 10, 12 years ago. I forgot how long it's been. Um, and I'm in the minority that actually thought it was all right. I didn't think it was horrible, like most people feel. I've seen worse. It's, it wasn't the greatest thing on earth. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen worse. But I've been waiting to see Green Lantern done right for since then, since before then, and we're getting Lanterns. It will be a HBO Max series, and it will consist of not one but two. I'm pretty sure y'all noticed I said lanterns plural. Two of the Green Lanterns. It will focus on Hal Jordan and John Stewart, and it is described as true detective style, terrestrial based show, where Hal Jordan and John Stewart are buddy cops, and I once again take my money. Perfect. That's all I need to hear. Perfect. That is the Green Lanterns for me. I'm all in on that. No release date for that, but that will be the next project after Superman Legacy. Following that, we have a film which is based on a team of superheroes with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet, and it is The Authority. I didn't follow The Authority in the comics too much. I know of them. All I can tell you about The Authority is they're a group of superheroes, and they will get justice by any means necessary. If they have to kill, they will kill. They have no problems with that. This is not your mother's Justice League. This is going to be a brutal film. I could, if they do it right. For the little bit that I know about The Authority, and so I'm excited for that. The next project he really announced is once again a HBO Max series, and it is Paradise Lost, and it will take place on Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. And he described this project as Game of Thrones style drama set on this all female island. Take my money. Take my money. This is awesome, man. I am a bunch of warrior women on this island, and you have all this intrigue and drama. Oh my God, really? You think I'm not gonna watch this? I'm all in for that. Yeah, Paradise Lost. Oh man, I cannot wait for this. Now this next one, everybody, if you was paying attention, I already told you that I'm the biggest Batman fan ever. And Batman will be a part of the DCU. They will have their own Batman. This will not be Robert Pattinson. This will not be Ben Affleck. It would not be Michael Keaton. This will be its own Batman. A new Batman is coming, and it is the brave and the bold. but he's not coming alone. If you read the Brave and the Bold comic, you know exactly what this is. He will have Robin with him, and not just any Robin, but he will have Damian Wayne. Yes, his son. And I am all in on this. Bruh. Bruh. I cannot wait for this. I cannot wait to see how they do this story. Um, the Brave and the Bold, to give you a little history on that, it is basically Bruce trying to get the murderous tendencies out of Damien, who was trained by the League of Assassins, and he's trying to get him to uh I don't know, just I guess be like him, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be this weird father and son story that um to see Bruce Wayne or Batman in this scenario where he's trying to break through to his son, get to his son, you know, mentally and emotionally, something that we don't see from Bruce Wayne. So this is a new take, a new direction in this, you know, in the past history of Batman films. So I'm excited for that. Like I said, this will not be an origin story. We're not going to see Martha pearls scattered all over the alley. So this is a plus for me. The Brave and the Bold. The next project, speaking of Batman, once again, this is not part of the DCU, but it is DC Elseworld, and it is the sequel to one of my favorite films of last year, the Batman Part 2. And it has a release date, everybody, and it will come out October the 3rd, 2025. Robert Pattinson is returning to portray Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. Matt Reeves is returning to write and direct. They've already started production as far as writing, pre-production, should I say. I don't want to I don't want to get people too excited. But yeah, they started pre-production. Uh 2025 is going to be a big year, people. 2025, we already announced they're going to have a Superman movie come out in July, and we have a Batman movie coming out in October. Whoo, boy, Lord, please grant me health and strength to make it to 2025 and beyond. But please, I need to be here for this. The Batman sequel will be released October the 3rd, 2025. Also on HBO Max. A lot of HBO Maxes, huh? Booster Gold. Well, Booster Gold is one of the lesser known superheroes, but Booster Gold, if you followed the comics, is one of the best, well, under, you know, lesser known superheroes, because Booster Gold is how could how you describe him? He's a loser. Booster Gold, he's from the future, and he uses this future technology to go back in time to now and pretend to be a superhero. So he's basically an imposter. You know, but he's a good guy. He's a superhero. But he, you know, in his time, he's a loser. So he wanted to come back to our time to be, you know, celebrated. So that's basically what Bruce Booster Gold is. It's funny. It's a funny comic. Normally he teams up with Blue Beetle, and I told you that Blue Beetle is coming out next year, so uh, they're setting that up. So this ought to be interesting. So we have Booster Gold, which will be on HBO Max as a television show. This next film that he announced, and we're almost to the end. This is a movie that uh I'm currently ironically am reading the comics version of this, and it's like it's like they read my mind, you know. it was it was like, wow, man, because as I was reading it, I was like, man, this would be an interesting movie. And James Gunn, man, I guess we on the same wavelength. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. If they're basing this on actual Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, this is going to be bananas because this is Supergirl. Uh, she's stranded on a piece of Krypton, just a piece of the planet that exploded. She's stranded on there. All her loved ones were have died or was murdered. She witnessed all that, and you know it basically takes place in the first 14 years of her life because Supergirl was supposed to come to Earth to watch over Clark, but she got deviated, due to the explosion of Krypton, and she aged slower. So when she finally does come to Earth, she's actually younger than Clark Kent. But in Krypton time, she's older. She's the older cousin. But anywho, Supergirl has always been an interesting character, and to tell this version of Supergirl is going to be bananas. So I cannot wait to see this. This will be a film. This will be released in theaters. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. The last film, last project that he announced, he being James Gunn again, uh, is a horror film, and it is none other than Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is a very powerful entity. I wouldn't call him a hero. I wouldn't call him he's just an entity. And this is kind of set apart from the rest of the DCU, but he did say that it will connect in a way. So it's not a full departure, but it is like its own little film. So Swamp Thing uh is the last film in, I guess, chapter one of their grand plan. And so yeah, man, I'm excited for all these projects. I know it seems like everything's gonna be so far away, but I don't think so, man. I mean, this time is moving pretty fast. It's moving pretty fast. I mean, just think about, I think that Creature Commandos, I would imagine that will come out either late this year or early next year, or definitely in 2024, most likely, because they're already in production. They already started the animation and everything like that, so it'll probably be next year. But so once that kicks off, is rolling, and then after that, you got the Amanda Waller series, and the next year we get the Superman movie. So uh, I'm excited for it. No casting news because they're still working on the stuff. So it's gonna be fun to see who the new Superman is gonna be, who is the DCU's Batman, and all these other characters. So yeah, I just wanted to go over that. I know a lot of people were awaiting this news since they announced that James Gunn will be leading the DCU. So this is going to be a fun time. And he said he has a 8 to 10 year plan. We'll see if all these projects come to fruition. That's going to be the next stage, because this isn't nothing new for DC. DC, I remember it was around, hmm, I want to say when Batman versus Superman came out, they announced all these movies, the Flash film, and we still haven't got that yet. Allegedly, we'll get it in July. They announced a Cyborg movie. They announced a Supergirl movie. They announced, I mean, they announced so many movies. I want to say about 20 movies they announced that they were about to make, and we have yet to get any of them. I know they said that Justice League was going to be 2 parts, and it wasn't. We were supposed to get New Gods that was based, on Apocalypse, and didn't get that. It was so many movies they announced, and so let's hope and pray that they stick to this slate, that we get this plan rolling. So everybody, Aside from all the DC news, which film this weekend are you excited about? Is it 80 for Brady or Knock at the Cabin? Both of which will be dropping in theaters this Friday, February the 3rd. All right, everybody. If you want to contact the show, don't forget you can email me here. Uh, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on Twitter at KB Radio Network and on other social media platforms. Just look for the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing the show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening, as well as YouTube, don't forget to check us out on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining me as I geeked out today about all of my DC properties that are scheduled to be made. I'm just hoping it happens. I'm a huge DC fan. As much as I love Marvel, I was always a DC guy when I was younger. Loved DC and wanted to see some good DC movies. And it's been very hit or miss when it came to the films. Not so much with Marvel, but with DC, it has been a task. So let's see if they can right this wrong, if they can steady this ship and get everything back on track. Everybody, I want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love one another. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.